All right, let's do this. Time for a deep dive into Jana Small Finance Bank's Q3 FY25 performance.
Oh, yeah, and we've got a lot to unpack here.
Yeah, right. We've got the press release,
The letter to the stock exchange,
the investor presentation.
and even a list of questions.
This is going to be good.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So our mission today,
Is to really figure out,
how is Jana Small Finance Bank actually doing?
yeah, what's working,
What's
or
not? And how are they handling this crazy economy?
right, because things are a bit unpredictable.
They really are.
And there are some really interesting things in here.
Like what?
Well, like their goal
Oh, yeah.
to have 80% secured assets.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bold move.
It is, especially for a small finance bank.
So secured assets, for those who don't know,
Those are basically assets that are backed by something tangible,
exact.
like property for a mortgage, for example.
So they're generally less risky than unsecured loans.
Right, so this focus on secured assets,
It could be as
that they're kind of anticipating some choppy waters ahead. Interesting.
Yeah.
And their digital banking push.
Oh, yeah, their digital stuff is really interesting.
It seems to be paying off big time,
Right.
with over 90% of their transactions
Wow.
now digital.
That's incredible.
So we're going to get to that a bit later.
Yeah.
But first, let's look at the big picture.
Yeah, let's set the stage.
The press release is all about their record high 9-month profit
Before tax,
right before tax.
which is huge.
A whopping 354 crore.
That's got to be a good sign, right?
That's a fantastic sign, especially given,
That's the economy.
all the challenges businesses have faced this year.
Yeah.
This suggests
Oh, absolutely.
that they're managing their finances really well.
And making smart decisions.
Yeah, it's not just about bringing in the money, it's about using it wisely, right?
Exactly.
Now, speaking of money, their assets under management
So basically, the total value of all the assets they manage.
exactly grew by 19%.
Year on year.
Year on year, reaching 27,984 crore.
So they're not just talking the talk.
They're walking the walk
They are.
when it comes to that goal of 80% secured assets.
Right, because right now they're sitting at 68%.
68%, so they're getting there.
Moving in the right direction.
Now, what's interesting is that despite this impressive profit, they've also set aside
Like, more money?
208 crore as an accelerated provision.
Ooh, accelerated provision.
Yeah, explain it to me like I'm 5.
Okay, so
What is an accelerated provision?
it's basically like a rainy day fund
Oh, okay.
for potential loan losses.
Yeah.
So they're acknowledging
And they're
that.
being cautious.
Yes.
Smart. Very smart, yeah.
So they're celebrating the profit.
But not getting carried away.
They're like, hey, let's be prepared just in case things get bumpy.
Exactly, because you never know with this economy, right?
Right. What about those non-performing assets?
NPAs, we always hear about, right?
Those are the tricky ones.
How are their loans performing?
Actually, the news is quite good here.
Really?
Their gross non-performing assets,
Okay.
or GNPA, have actually dropped to 2.71%,
That's great.
which is a 15 basis point decrease compared to last quarter,
So fewer loans are going bad,
essentially. Yeah.
and their net non-performing assets are even lower,
So that's the ones they haven't been able to recover.
at just 0.91%.
That's really good.
So they're doing a good job
It seems so.
of chasing down those bad loans.
Yeah, the lower those net NPAs,
The better.
the better their recovery efforts.
And they have a pretty healthy provision coverage ratio.
Oh, yeah, you love these ratios.
Oh, I know.
66.9%.
Okay. Again, like I'm 5.
Okay.
What is a provision coverage ratio?
Basically, they've set aside a good chunk of change
They have.
to cover potential losses from those non-performing assets.
So they're not just hoping for the best.
They're planning for the worst.
Got it.
It's like having insurance on your insurance.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're making a profit. They're being cautious.
And they're cleaning up those bad loans.
It sounds like they have a good handle on things so far.
They do.
But let's not forget about their customers.
Right, because a bank is only as good as the people it serves.
Exactly. And Jana Small Finance Bank seems to be attracting a lot of them.
A lot of customers.
Their deposits are through the roof.
Yeah, they grew by a whopping 24% year on year,
Really?
reaching 25,865 crore,
That's pretty impressive.
especially in this economic climate,
Yeah, it shows that customers trust them.
and are willing to park their money with them.
But where's all this growth coming from?
Well, their expansion strategy is playing a key role here.
I mean, they've got 778 branches.
Across 22 states and 2 union territories.
That's a wide reach.
It is, but it's not just about brick and mortar, right?
Right.
They're utilizing technology.
Those business correspondents
Yeah, the BCs.
I keep hearing about.
So they're using these BCs to extend their reach, particularly in those underserved rural areas.
Oh, okay.
Think of them as like banking agents who
Mm.
can take deposits, process payments, and provide other basic banking services without the need for a full-fledged branch. That's smart.
It's a really clever way to bridge that gap.
I like it.
Yeah.
And they're not just expanding geographically,
Right.
they're also branching out,
Get to new loan segments.
like two-wheeler loans and gold loans.
Interesting. Right.
Yeah, in those markets.
I've been growing rapidly in India.
So it's a smart way to diversify their portfolio, right?
Absolutely. Tapping into those booming sectors.
Have you seen their Home 360 program?
Oh, yeah. The Home 360 program.
It's like they're trying to become the one-stop shop for all their customers' financial needs,
Exactly. It's all about cross-selling.
deepening those customer relationships.
Yeah, they're bundling services to make life easier for their customers.
It's like the Amazon Prime of banking.
Yeah, you got to get everything you need in one place.
But does it actually work?
It seems so.
Do customers really buy into this bundling approach?
Well, the investor presentation
Okay.
highlights how customers participating in the Home 360 program.
They're buying it. They have significantly higher CASA and term deposit penetration.
They're not just selling more products.
They're building deeper relationships with their customers.
Exactly. And this ties into their focus on what they call aspirational India.
Right. The growing middle class,
The entrepreneurs.
families working to build a better future.
And they're meeting those customers where they are
Literally.
with their extensive branch network.
Right.
Those business correspondent agents.
And that impressive digital platform.
They're making banking
Yeah,
accessible for everyone.
That's the key to financial inclusion, isn't it?
I think so. Providing those services that are relevant
Affordable,
and easy to use
regardless of your location.
or tech savviness.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered their growth.
Their expansion.
What about their digital strategy?
Everyone's going digital these days.
So how are they stacking up?
This is where things get really interesting.
Okay, tell me more.
So Jana Small Finance Bank has undergone a remarkable digital transformation. Over 90% of their transactions are now digital.
That's a massive shift.
It is.
But what's driving that?
Well, for one, they've designed their digital platforms to be
yay.
incredibly user-friendly.
So they're thinking about the customer experience.
Exactly. They're making digital banking appealing.
Even for those who might be a little hesitant about technology.
Right. And they're not just sticking to the basics either.
Oh.
They're pushing digital payments hard.
Like with those merchant QR codes?
Yes. And UPI.
That's all seeing significant growth.
It is this digital push.
Yeah.
It's not just about keeping up with the times.
It's about serving their customers better.
Exactly. By making banking easier,
More convenient.
they're building loyalty and trust.
So they're digital dynamos.
They are.
But how do they stack up against the competition?
Right. What's their place in the world of small finance banks?
Exactly.
Well, they're currently the fourth largest small finance bank in India,
Wow.
serving over 12 million customers.
That's a substantial player.
It is. And while we can't divulge specifics about their competitors,
Right, of course.
it's clear from the available data
Okay.
that they're holding their own
They're doing well.
in this competitive landscape.
They're thriving.
They are, but let's not forget the bigger picture.
Right. The economic environment is still a bit shaky for many.
How are they navigating that?
That's a great question.
Yeah, they seem to be weathering the storm pretty well.
But are there any cracks in the foundation?
I don't know, maybe.
Let's find out.
Let's dig a little deeper and see what else we can uncover.
In part 2 of this deep dive.
Yeah, wait. You know, it's fascinating
What is?
how Jana Small Finance Bank
Mm-hmm.
is really trying to be more than just a place
Yeah.
to get a loan.
What do you mean?
They're actively working
Yeah.
to become their customers' main bank,
Oh, okay.
the one they rely on for everything.
I see.
Like take their Home 360 program, for example.
Right, the one that encourages customers to use more of their products.
Exactly. By offering this whole suite of products,
Mm-hmm.
like pre-approved business loans, gold loans, two-wheeler loans, even health insurance.
Wow, okay.
They're creating this one-stop shop for all their customers' financial needs.
So instead of having separate accounts and loans at different institutions,
Right.
customers can manage everything through Jana Small Finance Bank.
Precisely. And this approach seems to be resonating with their customer base.
It does.
Yeah, the investor presentation highlights that Home 360 participants
Okay.
have significantly higher SOZO,
So they.
which is current accounts and savings accounts,
Oh, right.
and term deposit penetration.
So they're keeping more of their money with the bank.
Exactly. Both for everyday transactions and longer-term savings.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they're also taking out more loans and have larger average account balances compared to those not in the program.
So it's not just about convenience for the customer.
Right.
It's also diversifying the bank's income streams and
Absolutely.
strengthening customer relationships.
It's a win-win.
I like it.
And this seems to tie into their focus
Ah.
on serving what they call aspirational India.
Right, right. Aspirational India.
They're not just targeting big corporations or the super wealthy.
Right.
They're catering to the growing middle class,
The entrepreneur.
the families working hard to build a better future.
And they're making a conscious effort to meet those customers where they are.
Right. Geographically and technologically.
Geographically, with the branches.
Exactly.
With
The digital platform, the business correspondent outreach.
They're really trying to make banking accessible
And convenient
for everyone.
That's right.
It's like they're saying, no matter who you are or where you are, we're here to help you achieve your financial goals.
That's a powerful message.
It is.
And speaking of meeting customers where they are,
Yeah.
let's circle back to their digital strategy.
Oh, okay.
I mean, those numbers are really impressive.
Tell me about it.
99% of savings accounts open digitally.
Wow.
98% of banking transactions happening online. Even 92% of loans are processed digitally.
They have really embraced technology.
They really have.
It's like they've skipped ahead to the future of banking.
Right.
But I'm curious,
Yeah.
is it just about the technology itself?
It's about the customer experience.
Oh.
They've designed these digital platforms to be intuitive, user-friendly, packed with helpful features.
So they're not just offering online banking.
Right.
They're making that experience
It's moving-
enjoyable.
Exactly.
I mean, their mobile app is consistently ranked among the top banking apps.
They do.
So they're clearly doing something right,
They are.
and they're not stopping there.
What else are they doing?
Well, they're pushing those boundaries of what's possible with digital banking.
Like how?
They've implemented those merchant QR codes.
Oh, yeah.
They're a major player in the UPI space.
Right.
And they're even using mobile and tablet technology for their Salesforce operations.
So they're not just reacting to trends.
They're actively shaping the future of banking.
Right. They're like a tech company that happens to offer banking services.
Okay, enough about their digital prowess for now.
Right.
Let's get back to the nitty-gritty of their financials.
Okay.
We talked about their profit,
Yeah.
but what about those all-important key ratios?
Yes, the ratio.
What do they tell us about Jana Small Finance Bank's overall financial health?
Well, their key ratios paint a very positive picture.
Good.
Their capital adequacy ratio,
Okay.
or CRA, stands at a healthy 18.4%.
Okay, break that down for me.
Sure.
What does a healthy capital adequacy ratio actually mean?
It's basically a measure of a bank's financial strength
Okay.
and its ability to absorb potential losses.
So the higher the ratio, the better equipped they are to weather a financial storm.
Exactly. A higher CRA
Yeah.
indicates they have a strong capital buffer.
Okay, like a financial cushion.
Yes.
Okay.
And their liquidity coverage ratio, or LCR.
Another ratio.
I know.
Another acronym.
Is an impressive 279%.
Decode this one for me too, please.
Okay, so think of LCR
Okay.
as a measure of a bank's ability to meet its short-term obligations,
Okay.
even in a stressful situation.
So if things get a little crazy,
Yeah, a high LCR means they have plenty of liquid assets on hand.
cash or assets that can be quickly converted to cash.
Exactly.
So it's like having a well-stocked emergency fund.
Precisely. No liquidity crunch here.
All right, good to know.
And their net interest margin, or INI.
I'm sensing a pattern here.
You got it.
What does NIM tell us?
NIM is basically the difference between the interest they earn on loans and the interest they pay out on deposits.
Oh, okay.
It's a key indicator of their profitability.
So a stable NIM suggests they're finding that sweet spot between attracting deposits and lending money at profitable rates.
Exactly.
Got it.
And their cost-to-income ratio is a respectable 60.1%.
Help me out one last time.
Okay.
What's a cost-income ratio and why should we care?
So it's a measure of their operational efficiency,
Okay.
showing how much they're spending to generate each rupee of income. A loader ratio indicates they're keeping those operating costs in check.
So all these ratios are pointing to a financially sound and well-managed bank.
That seems to be the case.
They're not just making money.
Yeah.
They're doing it in a smart and sustainable way.
They are, but remember, no business is without its challenges.
That's true.
What potential headwinds do you think they might be facing?
Well, we talked about their push into unsecured lending, like those two-wheeler and gold loans.
Yeah,
Aren't those inherently riskier than secured loans?
that's a sharp observation.
Could that be a cause for concern?
Well, While their overall GMPA and NMPA numbers are encouraging,
Right.
the investor presentation does reveal that their unsecured portfolio
Okay.
has a slightly higher GNPA ratio compared to their secured portfolio.
So even though those new loan segments are attracting customers and generating revenue,
Right.
they could also be more vulnerable to economic fluctuations
Potentially.
because unsecured loans aren't backed by collateral. So if a borrower defaults, the bank has less recourse to recover its losses.
Exactly. But didn't they set aside that accelerated provision
They did.
specifically to address those potential problems?
It's true.
It's a balancing act.
They want to grow, they want to expand into these new markets,
Yeah.
but they also need to manage that growth responsibly and protect their financial stability.
So it's not just about chasing profits.
Right.
It's about making smart choices for long-term success.
Exactly.
And let's not forget about the competition.
Oh, yeah, the competition.
The small finance banking sector in India is crowded,
So they need to stay agile,
innovative.
customer-focused to
Absolutely.
maintain their leading position.
They can't afford to rest on their laurels.
They need to keep pushing the boundaries.
Yes.
And finding ways to differentiate themselves from the pack,
Exactly. And they'll need to continue investing in technology,
expanding their reach.
developing new products and services to meet those evolving needs of their customer base.
It's a dynamic market.
It is.
But from what we've seen in these results, Jana Small Finance Bank seems well equipped to handle those challenges ahead.
I agree.
They have a clear strategy,
Strong financials.
a dedicated team.
They're definitely a company to watch.
They are.
They're a fascinating case study in how a small finance bank can navigate a complex and rapidly changing market while staying true to its mission of serving aspirational India.
Well said.
Thank you.
I think we've covered pretty much everything in this second part of our deep dive.
We have
We explored their growth strategies,
their digital transformation,
those key financial ratios.
even some of the challenges they might face in the future.
It's been a pleasure dissecting these details with you,
Likewise.
uncovering the story behind the numbers.
Absolutely.
But before we wrap up completely, we still have that list of questions
The question.
that you brought.
Oh, yeah.
Should we tackle those next?
Absolutely. Let's dive into those questions and see if we can glean any further insights.
From this already impressive performance.
I'm ready.
Okay, we've covered so much ground already.
I know it's a lot.
Growth, digital strategy, even those financial ratios, but
We've got one more piece.
one more piece of the puzzle to tackle.
The questions.
That list of questions you brought.
I'm ready.
Ready to dive in?
Let's do it.
Okay, first up, what are the key highlights of Jana Small Finance Bank's Q3 FY25 financial results?
Oh, that's a broad one.
I know, right?
But we've touched on many of them already.
We have.
Yeah, their record high 9-month profit before tax.
Right,
That's a standout.
definitely.
Plus that impressive deposit growth.
Yes.
The shift towards those safer secured assets, the strong performance of their digital platform,
Yeah.
and their expansion into new loan segments like two-wheelers and gold loans.
Those are all major highlights.
Absolutely.
And we can't forget those improving asset quality figures
Of course not.
and their proactive approach to provisioning.
It paints a picture
It does.
of a bank that's not just performing well,
Mm-hmm.
but also managing risk effectively
Yeah, they're not just celebrating the wins.
Right.
They're also preparing
for potential challenges.
down the road.
Exactly.
Okay, this leads nicely into the next question.
What's that?
How does the bank's performance in Q3 FY25 compare to the previous quarter and the same period last year?
Well, they're definitely on an upward trajectory.
Yeah, it seems like.
Profitability is up, asset quality is improving, deposits are growing at a healthy pace.
Yeah, they seem to be outperforming both their past performance and the broader market trends,
That's right, they've managed to maintain this momentum,
even as the economic environment
which has been a little
a bit challenging.
challenging for many.
That speaks volumes
It really does.
about their strategic decision-making.
And operational efficiency.
Okay, next question.
Hit me.
What factors contributed to the revenue growth or decline in this quarter?
I think we can safely say it was growth.
I think so too. 19% year-on-year growth in total revenue
Yeah, that's
from the investor presentation.
right. And this can be attributed to a number of factors.
That's what?
Well, the growth in their loan portfolio, particularly in those secured lending segments, played a key role.
Okay.
Plus, they've seen an increase in fee income from their digital and cross-selling initiatives like the Home 360 program.
Makes sense.
And let's not forget their successful cost management strategies.
Right, keeping those costs under control.
Exactly. So it's not just about bringing in more revenue.
That's also managing those costs effectively.
It is.
All right, moving on to profitability.
Oh, everyone's favorite.
How did the net profit figures for Q3 FY25 fare?
Well, we touched on this,
We did.
but it's worth highlighting again.
Go for it.
They delivered a solid performance with a net profit after tax of 378 crore for the 9 months,
And that's
even after setting aside that significant amount for potential future risks.
with that accelerated provision.
Yeah.
So they're not just focused on those short-term gains.
Right. They're thinking long-term
Absolutely.
and preparing for any potential bumps in the road.
It's all about building a solid foundation for sustainable growth.
I like that.
And this profitability.
Yeah.
It allows them to invest in future growth opportunities, reward their shareholders with dividends, and strengthen their overall financial position.
It's a virtuous cycle.
It is.
Okay, next question. Were there any significant changes in operating expenses or cost-to-income ratios?
So we talked about their cost management earlier,
Right.
but have there been any major shifts?
Well, their cost-to-income ratio has inched up a bit compared to last year,
It has.
but it's still within a healthy range.
That's good.
This slight increase is likely due to their ongoing expansion efforts,
Makes sense.
investments in technology, adding skilled employees to their team.
Yeah, those are all good things.
But it's important to note that these are strategic investments that should pay off in the long run.
Right, by making them more efficient and competitive.
So it's not just about cutting costs blindly.
Mm-hmm.
It's about investing wisely in those areas
That will fuel future growth.
and improve their operations.
They're playing the long game.
They are.
Okay, on to everyone's favorite topic.
Oh, yeah.
What is the current status of non-performing assets, NPAs, for Jana Small Finance Bank?
This is where the news is particularly good.
Good news.
Their gross NPA ratio has dropped to 2.71%,
Okay.
and their net NPA ratio is even lower at 0.91%.
Wow, both of those figures are back to pre-COVID levels.
They are.
That's a very positive sign.
It is. It sounds like they've done a good job of managing those bad loans.
And getting back on track.
Absolutely, after those turbulent times.
Yeah, and their healthy provision coverage ratio
Right.
of 66.9%.
Provides an additional layer of comfort.
It does.
It shows they're prepared for any potential future asset quality issues and aren't being complacent.
They're on top of it.
They are.
Okay, next question. Has the bank made any significant provisions for bad loans in this quarter?
Well, we know they've set aside that accelerated provision of 208 crore,
Right.
but anything else worth mentioning?
Well, that accelerated provision is really the key takeaway here.
Right.
It goes above and beyond their regular provisioning requirements
It does.
and shows their proactive approach to managing those potential future risks
Oh, it's bad.
in that unsecured lending segment.
Right, they're being extra cautious
Yeah,
with those loans that aren't backed by collateral.
exactly. It's a prudent move that should give investors and stakeholders confidence in their ability to navigate those economic uncertainties.
Absolutely.
All right, next, what measures are being taken to improve asset quality and reduce NPAs going forward?
Well, it sounds like they're already doing a lot.
They are.
But is there anything else in the pipeline?
Well, their focus on secured lending is a major part of their strategy to keep those NPAs in check.
Okay, by prioritizing loans backed by collateral.
They're reducing the likelihood of those loans turning sour.
It makes sense.
They're also investing in robust credit assessment processes.
To make sure they're lending to borrowers who are likely to repay.
So they're being more selective about who they lend to.
Exactly, not just handing out loans to anyone who walks through the door.
I see. And are they strengthening their collections infrastructure as well?
They are. They're strengthening those teams and processes that are responsible for recovering those overdue payments.
Makes sense.
And they're even leveraging data analytics.
To spot those potential red flags early on.
They're on it.
So it's a combination of smart lending practices and efficient recovery efforts.
Right. They're trying to prevent those bad loans from happening in the first place.
But they also have a plan in place if they do occur.
Exactly.
Okay, moving on to growth and expansion.
Yeah.
Did the bank see any significant growth in deposits or advances in Q3 FY25?
I think we already know the answer to this one.
I think we do. Their deposits by a remarkable 24% year on year.
Driven by growth in both current and savings accounts and those longer-term deposits.
Okay, and their loan portfolio also expanded, especially in those secured lending segments.
And those newer areas like two-wheeler and gold loans.
So they're growing on both sides of the balance sheet.
They are.
Attracting more deposits?
And making more loans.
That's impressive.
It is. Their expansion strategy, both in terms of their geographic footprint and their product offerings, is clearly bearing fruit.
It seems so.
They're tapping into new markets, attracting a wider customer base, and diversifying their revenue streams.
Next question.
Okay.
Are there any updates on branch expansion or customer acquisition during this period?
Good question.
Are they still opening new branches, or are they shifting their focus to digital channels?
They're doing a bit of both.
How so?
While they're continuing to strategically expand their branch network.
Targeting both urban and rural areas.
Exactly. But they're also leveraging those business correspondents.
Right, to reach those underserved communities where setting up a full-fledged branch might not be feasible.
That's right. So it's kind of a hybrid approach
Yeah, combining the physical presence of branches.
with the reach and convenience of those BC agents.
And what about customer acquisition?
Well, their efforts are focused on building those long-term relationships.
They're using their digital platform to make it easy for customers to open accounts.
And access services.
And they're offering a diverse range of products and services.
Tailored to their target market's needs.
So they're not just trying to acquire any customer.
Right,
They're
yeah.
looking for customers
Who will stick around.
for the long haul.
That's right. Building that loyal customer base.
Okay, next question. How is Jana Small Finance Bank leveraging technology to enhance its services and reach?
We talked about their digital savvy already.
We have. Their digital transformation is truly impressive.
It is.
They've moved beyond simply offering online banking.
Right.
They're using technology
To fundamentally change.
to change how they operate and serve their customers.
I mean, over 90% of their transactions are now digital.
wow.
Their mobile app gets rave reviews.
I know, I've seen them.
And they're constantly innovating with new digital solutions.
It's like they're a tech company disguised as a bank.
Yeah, in many ways they are.
And this digital focus isn't just about efficiency and cost savings.
It's about empowering their customers.
By making banking easier,
More accessible.
they're helping people take control of their finances and achieve their financial goals.
Exactly. They're not just using technology for technology's sake.
Right.
They're using it to make a real difference.
In people's lives.
That's right.
All right, moving on to sector and competitive analysis.
Okay.
How does Jana Small Finance Bank's performance compare with other small finance banks in Q3 FY25?
Well, we know they're a major player,
Mm-hmm.
but how do they stack up against the competition?
Well, while we can't disclose specifics about their competitors,
Of course.
the available data that Jana Small Finance Bank,
is a leader in the sector.
they really are.
Their financial performance, their strategic initiatives, and their digital capabilities all indicate that they're at the forefront of this rapidly evolving industry.
So they're not just keeping up with the Joneses, they're setting the pace.
They are raising the bar for the entire sector.
Okay, next question. What role has the broader economic environment played in shaping these results?
It's been a tough year for many businesses,
It has.
but Jana Small Finance Bank seems to be doing quite well.
They are, and their success can be partly attributed to their ability to adapt to this challenging economic climate.
Makes sense.
Their focus on secured lending, their proactive risk management, and their diverse income streams have all helped them weather the storm.
I agree.
So they're not just lucky.
No.
They're making smart choices that are paying off.
Right. And their commitment to serving the needs of aspirational India.
Yeah, a segment that's been particularly impacted by those economic fluctuations.
Has also played a role in their resilience.
Okay, next question. Are there any upcoming regulatory changes that might impact the bank's performance in the future?
That's a good question.
The regulatory landscape is always shifting.
It is.
So what's on the horizon?
Well, the financial services sector is constantly evolving,
Yeah,
and new regulations are always a possibility.
but Jana Small Finance Bank has a strong track record of adapting to new regulations.
Ensuring compliance
They do. They have a dedicated team that monitors those regulatory developments.
and keeps them ahead of the curve.
So they're not just reacting to those changes
They're anticipating them.
and preparing in advance.
Absolutely. They're proactive, not reactive.
All right, let's move on to investor and stakeholder focus.
Okay.
What do these results mean for investors and stakeholders?
So if I'm looking to invest in a small finance bank,
Yeah.
should Jana Small Finance Bank be on my radar?
Based on these results, they certainly deserve consideration.
I think so.
They're profitable, growing, Strategically positioned for future success.
All good.
Their strong financials, commitment to transparency, and consistent dividend payouts.
Yeah, those make them an attractive option for investors.
Seeking both growth and income.
And they're not just focused on profits,
Right, they're committed to making a positive social impact
which is increasingly important.
to many investors.
It is.
Next question.
Right.
Has the bank shared any forward-looking statements or plans for the next quarter or fiscal year?
Are they giving us any hints about what the future holds?
Well, they've indicated that they'll continue to prioritize those core strategies that have served them well.
Like,
We'll expect to see a continued emphasis on secured lending, digital innovation, and customer centricity.
yeah,
They're also planning to expand their product portfolio,
right.
enhance their digital offerings, and further strengthen their risk management framework.
So they're not resting on their laurels.
They're not. They're constantly looking for ways to improve and evolve.
They're ambitious and forward-thinking.
They are.
I like it.
Okay, last question.
Thank you.
What key challenges does the bank anticipate in maintaining or improving its growth trajectory?
So it sounds like they're doing great.
They are.
But what potential roadblocks do they foresee?
Well, the economic environment remains uncertain,
That's true.
and competition in the small finance banking sector is fierce.
It is.
So to maintain their momentum, they'll need to continue to manage risk effectively,
Mm-hmm.
stay ahead of the curve in terms of innovation,
Right.
attract and retain top talent.
So it's not going to be a cakewalk.
It's never easy to stay at the top,
That's for sure.
but they seem to have the right ingredients for success.
I agree.
Well, I think that covers all the questions.
What a comprehensive deep dive this has been.
It really has.
It's been a pleasure dissecting these results with you and uncovering the story behind the numbers.
The pleasure was all mine.
And to our listeners out there,
Yeah.
remember, this is just the beginning.
There's always more to learn.
And explore.
Don't be afraid to dig deeper
Ask questions.
and form your own opinions.
The world of finance.
Is constantly evolving.
And there's always something new to discover.
That's what the deep dive is all about.
So next time,
Keep learning
keep exploring.
and keep diving deep.